Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something seriously exciting for all you Oblivion Remastered fans, the Daedric shrines scattered across Cyrodiil. These aren't just cool-looking statues hidden in the woods or tucked away in the mountains. They're your golden ticket to some of the best weapons and artifacts in the game. Each shrine is like a portal to a unique mini-adventure, and by talking to these mysterious Daedric princes, you'll unlock quests that range from wild to downright twisted. The best part? The rewards are absolutely worth it. Now, here's the fun part. Every Daedric prince has a completely different vibe. Some are creepy, some are charming, and some are just plain unhinged. But they've all got one thing in common. If you impress them, they'll hook you up with legendary gear. We're talking powerful weapons, game-changing items, and artifacts with abilities you won't find anywhere else. In this video, we're going on a tour of the best Daedric rewards you can get in Oblivion Remastered, and trust me, you're gonna want to grab every single one. Let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The Woback. Just saying the name brings a little grin to your face, doesn't it? This staff is Chaos Incarnate, and that makes perfect sense when you realize it belongs to Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. To get your hands on it in the Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, you will need to pay a visit to the Shrine of Sheogorath. But be warned, you are not just walking into any old Daedric quest. This one is bizarre, unpredictable, and absolutely unforgettable. First things first, there is a level requirement. You need to be at least level 2, and you will have to bring an offering, yarn, lettuce, and a lesser soul gem. Not exactly your standard heroic tribute, right? That should be your first clue that things are about to get weird. Once you make your offering, Sheogorath gives you a task. Go to a nearby town and terrify the locals. Why? Because you are fulfilling a prophecy of doom, of course. As you trigger a series of increasingly strange events, you start to realize you are just a puppet in Sheogorath's theatrical performance of madness. Complete the quest, and your reward is the Woback, a staff that embodies Sheogorath's unpredictable nature. What does it do? It transforms any creature, but not non-player characters, into something else entirely for 10 seconds. That sounds fun until your plan backfires. You think you're being clever by turning a threatening enemy into something harmless, but instead that mountain lion becomes a Daedroth, and suddenly you are the one running. It is a wild gamble every time you use it, which is exactly what Sheogorath would want. And speaking of Sheogorath, his reaction to your visit depends entirely on your progress in the Shivering Isles expansion. If you have not stepped foot in the Isles, he greets you with his usual unpredictable flair. But if you have already taken his place as the new Prince of Madness, well, then Haskell shows up in his stead, as the voice of reason, or at least the closest thing to reason you will find in Sheogorath's court. All in all, the Woback is not just a weapon, it is an experience. A ridiculous, chaotic, hilarious experience, and one of the best Daedric artifacts in the entire game. Alright, let us talk about one of the most hilarious and chaotic Daedric quests in Oblivion Remastered. The one that ends with everyone in their underwear and you walking away with one of the best Daedric artifacts in the game, the Sanguin Rose. If you're looking to mix a little mischief with some serious magical power, this is a quest you absolutely should not miss. And trust me, it is not just about the laughs. The reward is genuinely useful in combat. So, here is how it all kicks off. To start the Shrine of Sanguin quest, you need to be at least level 8 and bring an offering of Cyrodiilic brandy. Once you make the offering, you will meet Sanguin, a Daedric prince who is basically the divine embodiment of drunken chaos. He thinks the parties in Cyrodiil are way too boring, especially the ones thrown by the Countess of Leowyn. His solution? Crash one of her stiff and proper get-togethers and spice things up with a good old-fashioned prank. Now, what is the prank? Sanguin gives you a spell that causes everyone at the party to lose their clothing. Not entirely, do not worry, just down to their undergarments. You sneak into the castle, cast the spell at the right time, and suddenly it is the most unforgettable party the Countess has ever hosted. The guards naturally are not thrilled, and you will probably need to make a quick getaway. But once you manage to escape and return to Sanguin, you are rewarded with something far better than party props, the legendary Sanguin Rose. This staff is no joke. The Sanguin Rose allows you to summon a random Daedra to fight for you for 20 seconds. The type of Daedra you get depends on your luck stat, so sometimes you might get a low-level helper, but other times you can call forth a powerhouse that turns the tide of battle in an instant. For a quest that begins with you crashing a fancy dinner in the most ridiculous way possible, ending up with one of the strongest conjuration tools in the game is an unexpected but very welcome twist. Sure, let's talk about one of the easiest and most underrated Daedric artifacts you can get your hands on in Oblivion Remastered, the Ring of Namira. This one does not require you to go on some wild goose chase across Cyrodiil or slay a legendary beast. Nope. All you need is to be at least level 5 and have your personality stat drop below 20. Sounds weird? Welcome to Namira's world. To get started, you will need to visit the Shrine of Namira. It is not hidden or anything. You will find it easily by following your map marker. But here is the catch. Namira is not exactly into charming, well-spoken heroes. She prefers the gloomy and grim types. So, if your personality is naturally high, you will need to find a way to tank it before she will even speak to you. Potions, spells, or even some questionable gear. Just get it under 20 and you are in. Once you are in Namira's good graces, she will send you on a pretty dark but straightforward quest. There are some priests of Archay hanging around doing their holy thing, and Namira wants them out of the picture. But here's the twist. She does not want you to do the dirty work yourself. All you need to do is cast a special spell on the priests to make them vulnerable, and then Namira's own followers will handle the rest. You are basically just the guy flipping the switch. After the deed is done, Namira rewards you with the Ring of Namira. And let me tell you, this thing slaps, especially if you're going up against mages. It reflects both damage and spells, which means enemies end up hurting themselves more than they hurt you. Plus, the effort to reward ratio here is fantastic. No dungeon crawling, no world-ending bosses, just some creepy vibes and a little spell work, and you are set. When you finally make your way to the Shrine of Periite in Oblivion Remastered, things feel a little off. You are greeted not by fanatical cheers or mysterious rituals, but by a frozen group of followers, completely still like statues. No, they are not pulling a prank. These poor souls messed up a summoning and, instead of contacting their beloved Daedric prince, Periite, they managed to trap their souls in another realm. Naturally, Periite cannot just fix this himself. He needs you to get your hands dirty. Once you agree to help, you are transported into Periite's realm. And let me tell you, it is not a vacation spot. You will be tracking down all 5 of these misplaced souls, dealing with some tricky enemies, and navigating through a twisted plane of existence. It is not the most glamorous rescue mission, but hey, every soul counts, right? Each one you save brings you closer to earning a pretty serious reward. And oh, that reward is worth every second. After rescuing all 5 followers and reuniting them with their bodies, Periite is pleased enough to grant you the Spellbreaker. This is not just any shield, it is a unique artifact with a built-in enchantment that reflects 30% of incoming spells. That is not a typo. 30%. If you are tired of getting roasted by fireballs or zapped by frost spells, this shield gives you a real edge in combat against magic users. In a game filled with dangerous necromancers, conjurers, and rogue mages, having the Spellbreaker in your inventory is like carrying around your own little anti-magic insurance policy. It may not be as flashy as some other Daedric weapons, but if defense is your game, or if you just want to watch enemy spells bounce right back at them, it is absolutely one of the best Daedric artifacts you can get your hands on in Oblivion Remastered. So you are looking for one of the best Daedric artifacts in Oblivion Remastered? Then you definitely want to check out the Skull of Corruption. This twisted little beauty is gifted by none other than Vermina, the Daedric Prince of Dreams and Nightmares. As you might guess, things get weird real quick. You will need to be at least level 5 to start this quest, and Vermina is not interested in your gold. She wants a grand black soul gem. Yup, that is the price of entry for this dark and surreal ride. The quest takes you to a place called Arkved's Tower, and let me just say, it is not your average dungeon crawl. This place is a fever dream. There are bizarre creatures, shifting layouts, and enough chaos to make your head spin. Now here is the interesting part. You do not even have to fight your way through all of it. If you want, you can just sprint past the enemies and head straight for your goal. Vermina does not care how you get the orb, as long as you bring it back. Very on brand for the Prince of Nightmares, right? Once you complete the quest, Vermina rewards you with the Skull of Corruption, a staff with some seriously chaotic potential. This thing lets you create a clone of pretty much any non-player character in the game. The clone sticks around for about 30 seconds and usually goes straight for the original with a vengeance. It is a fantastic tool for sowing confusion, getting out of tough situations, or just watching a ridiculous NPC showdown unfold right in front of you. One important thing to keep in mind though, using the Skull of Corruption on someone counts as assault. So if guards see you whipping it out in the middle of town, you are going to have problems. That said, if the clone ends up killing the original, it does not count as murder on your part. Clean hands, chaotic results. And if you are not in the mood to explore every inch of Arkved's Tower, there is a trapdoor shortcut straight into Arkved's death chamber. It is an appropriately creepy name for what you are walking into, but hey, it saves time. If you're hunting for the best Daedric artifacts in Oblivion Remastered, then you absolutely cannot skip the skeleton key. Seriously, this thing is a game changer, especially if you're tired of breaking lockpicks every 5 seconds. What makes it so special? Well, it is not just an unbreakable lockpick, it also gives you a massive plus 40 boost to your security skill just by having it in your inventory. Yes, that is right. No equipping necessary. Just hold on to it and suddenly you are a master thief, even if you have never picked a lock in your life. Now, the quest to get the skeleton key is tied to the Daedric Prince Nocturnal. The cool thing? There is no fancy offering needed. Just head to Nocturnal's shrine once you hit level 10 and talk to the statue. Nocturnal will immediately start ranting about how someone stole his eye. Classic Daedric drama. He tells you that the culprits are somewhere in Leyawind, so you know exactly where to start your search. And let us be honest, any quest that kicks off with a deity losing an eyeball has got to be interesting. Your little detective adventure in Leyawind is actually not too complicated. A bit of asking around and some classic snooping will eventually lead you to the thieves. These guys are not exactly the brightest, so finding the Eye of Nocturnal does not require you to be some master investigator. Once you recover it, just head back to the shrine, hand over the eye, and boom! You are now the proud owner of the skeleton key. Even if you are not playing a thief or a sneaky character, this artifact is still crazy useful. Those annoying locked chests and doors that pop up in every dungeon? No longer a problem. And that security skill boost means you can skip grinding that skill entirely. It is one of those rare items that stays useful throughout the entire game, no matter what kind of build you are playing. Trust me, once you get the skeleton key, you will wonder how you ever lived without it. So, let's talk about one of the most underrated but incredibly useful Daedric artifacts you can get your hands on in Oblivion Remastered, the Ring of Kajjiti. It is tied to Meridia's Daedric quest, and while it may not be a flashy sword or a devastating staff, do not let that fool you. This ring is a game changer, especially if you love stealth or just want to zoom around Cyrodiil like a shadow with rocket shoes. To get this beauty, you will need to be at least level 10 and offer either bone meal or ectoplasm at the Shrine of Meridia. Pretty metal, right? Once you do that, Meridia will send you on a bit of a cleanup mission. Apparently, some necromancers have been getting too cozy with the dead, raising armies and raiding graves like it is some kind of weekend hobby. Your job? Go in there and wreck their plans. Depending on your character's build, this quest can either feel like a breeze or a brutal wake-up call. So do not go in swinging with a wooden sword and a dream. Gear up properly. Now, let us talk about what you get for all that trouble. The Ring of Kajjiti comes with a 35% chameleon effect. That means you are partially invisible, blending into the world like a ghost. It is not true invisibility, so enemies can still spot you if you get too close or act recklessly. But, and this is where things get exciting, you can stack it. Combine it with other chameleon gear, and you can actually hit 100% chameleon. At that point, you are basically untouchable. Walk right past guards, pickpocket without a care, or assassinate your target in plain sight. Oh, and that is not all. The ring also gives you a solid 10-point boost to your speed. So not only are you sneaky, you are also fast. It is like being a ninja with turbo. This makes it perfect for characters who like to avoid direct combat or just want to dart around the map without being slowed down. Whether you're in the Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, or just living your best sneaky life, this ring is one of the best Daedric artifacts you can get. Seriously, do not sleep on the Ring of Kajjiti. You know, one of the most unforgettable Daedric artifacts you can stumble upon in Oblivion Remastered has to be the Ebony Blade. It is not just a sword, it is a full-blown invitation to stir up some serious trouble in Tamriel. The moment you step into the Shrine of Mephala at level 15 or higher, things get interesting. Mephala is not your average Daedric prince. She thrives on manipulation, betrayal, and a healthy dose of chaos. And of course, she has a little job for you that involves both murder and deception. No big deal, right? To even get started, you will need to bring her an offering of Nightshade. Fitting, considering the kind of work she expects from you. What follows is a quest that's straight out of a dark fantasy soap opera. Mephala wants you to sabotage two noble families by murdering a member of one household and framing the other. As you can imagine, that little act sets off a chain reaction that ends in bloodshed, and eventually the complete downfall of one family. Harsh? Absolutely. But you cannot say it is not classic Daedric storytelling. When the dust settles and one family lies in ruin, Mephala rewards you with the Ebony Blade. And let me tell you, this weapon is no joke. It is an enchanted two-handed katana that drains health from your enemies while also silencing them. That silence effect is especially satisfying. No more pesky fireballs or healing spells from your enemies. Just you, your blade, and a whole lot of stolen hit points. It is a great choice if you like staying aggressive in combat and keeping enemy mages useless. What really makes the Ebony Blade stand out is how perfectly it reflects Mephala twisted personality. It is not just about raw power, it is about control, manipulation, and feeding off the destruction you cause. In a way, using the blade kind of makes you an extension of her will. And in a game full of epic loot and legendary weapons, that eerie connection gives the Ebony Blade a sinister charm that is hard to forget. So if you are building a character that thrives in the shadows and loves a bit of drama, you definitely do not want to miss out on this one. Alright, let's talk about one of the absolute legends in Oblivion Remastered, Goldbrand. If you're out there hunting for the best Daedric weapons and artifacts in the game, this one definitely deserves a spot at the top of your list. Not only does it look incredible with that golden blade and dragon-themed hilt, but it also packs a serious punch when it comes to both physical and magical damage. To get your hands on Goldbrand, you will need to visit the Shrine of Boethia. There are a couple of requirements before you can begin the quest. Your character must be at least level 20, and you will need to bring a Daedra heart as an offering. Once you make the offering, Boethia will invite you into a separate realm where the real challenge begins. This is not just a stroll through a cave or dungeon. You will be facing off against 9 other combatants in an all-out battle royale. Now here is the fun part, the fight. It is intense, chaotic, and honestly, pretty entertaining. You are not just battling random creatures, you are up against the chosen champions of a Daedric prince. Each opponent is tough in their own way, and you really need to stay on your toes. But if you manage to come out on top, you are rewarded not just with the satisfaction of victory, but also with the chance to loot your fallen enemies. Many of them carry great gear, so make sure to check every corpse. Once the dust settles and you return to the shrine, Boethia will present you with Goldbrand. This katana is no joke. It deals 25 points of base damage and comes with an additional 22 points of fire damage, making it lethal even against the toughest foes in the game. Whether you are slicing through undead or going toe-to-toe with a Daedric monster, Goldbrand delivers. It is stylish, powerful, and hands down one of the best weapons you can add to your arsenal in Oblivion Remastered.
If you're diving into Oblivion Remastered and you're a fan of powerful artifacts, then the Augma Infinium is a name you need to know. This book isn't just a piece of lore. It's one of the most powerful rewards you can get in the game, and the journey to unlock it is as thrilling as the reward itself. The Augma Infinium is tied to the Daedric prince Hermaeus Mora, the god of knowledge, and completing his Daedric quest will unlock it for you. The catch? You have to capture a soul from each race in Cyrodiil. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, the way you go about this is completely up to you. Whether you want to rack up kills in the arena or go on a more chaotic rampage across the land, it's all fair game. Now, to even start this quest, you need to have completed all the other Daedric Shrine quests and at least begun the Blood of Daedra quest. But once you're there, you're in for a treat. Hermaeus Mora asks you to gather souls, not for a simple summoning, but to build the perfect knowledge of the world. It's a pretty wild task, but in the world of Oblivion, that's just part of the charm. And trust me, once you complete the quest, the Augma Infinium is totally worth it. So what makes the Augma Infinium so great? When you read it, you get to permanently boost 2 attributes and 3 skills by 10 points each. This might not sound like much at first, but it makes a world of difference when you're building your character for those high-level battles. Want to power up your combat skills or improve your magical abilities? This book gives you the freedom to shape your character in ways that are otherwise tough to do. It's one of those rare moments in the game where your hard work really pays off, and you can see the impact of those boosts across your entire playthrough. In the grand scheme of Oblivion, the Augma Infinium is one of those artifacts that can completely change the course of your journey. It's not just about the boost in stats, it's about the adventure you go on to earn it. It's about those epic moments when you're facing off against Daedric princes and unlocking the true potential of your character. The Augma Infinium is more than just a book. It's a symbol of what makes Oblivion such a memorable RPG experience. So, get ready to chase down that soul-stealing mission, because once you have it, you'll be unstoppable.
The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.